2.
What inspired you to write The Good Rainbow Road?
Generally, the story of Native people and their land, culture, and community needs to be told. Generally. Specifically, I would say that it has to do with a old-time pueblo that has had its environmental problems, and one of the environmental problems is drought, and I think that relates to today's conditions oftentimes. And so it's a way in which people evolve to solve this drought problem, which is to seek the help of the Shiwan, the spirits of the rain and snow.
Now, this is not an actual traditional myth. This is a story that it comes out of it. But I think we've seen a lot of books that say a retelling of traditional stories. But this is a story that you, in essence, created.
It's not a traditional story that I translate or put in today's terms, contemporize it. No. The people have creative ways of solving problems, and it depends on what era or what takes place in the current time. And this is their solution. Obviously, it goes back to a storytelling tradition that is, of course, old and ageless, as culture is old and ageless.
Well, I thought it shows a great deal about the Pueblo culture, in that the people as a whole were having a problem, and they got together and said, what can we do to solve this problem? And they sent a couple of young men out on a mission, didn't they?
Boys, as I call them, or young men, who take the message, that is the needs of the people and the land. You know, I think that always it goes back to whatever I write, the land, culture, and community. And so they take the word to the Shiwan, Titra, you know, the powers, the creative powers of the climate, of the earth, of the land. And it is a very contemporary story, as well as I said earlier, going back to a long time ago, and how people evolve.
Oh, I found it very interesting that, you know, they have to overcome a lot of troubles, and the worst one is this huge canyon filled with lava. And one of them, first one makes it across, but the other one, the only way he makes it across really is by appreciating and being respectful for an old lady that he was reminded to. His first one said, look back, there's somebody you need to pay attention to and be respectful to.
Well, this goes back to the value and what human culture does value or can value in the Pueblo traditions. The fact that the land and the earth, the world is female, and so as symbolized by this woman, this old woman who is blind in this case. And the first thing that the boy, the second one, his older brother is Taya, without thinking, because the old woman who is blind is headed towards this chasm of lava. First thing he does is jumps to stop her, you know, saying that you must stop because it's dangerous to go forward. And she takes out a little stone that she has in her pocket, and she is there actually to help the boys. So it reaches really kind of the core of the story. It's that people need to seek help instead of human culture being so egocentric as a human culture solving its problems by its own will, but knowing that there's a higher way to do it, and that is to go back to tradition and the values that are there inherently in the earth and the relationship with the human culture.
Perhaps recognition that we are not in charge, that
yes.
We can't just say,
very much so.
Make it so.
And so the message of this, which I think that you realize, is this recognition and accepting of this, your role in the environmental conditions and your role in the maintenance of life. Yes.
Now, this book is very intriguingly, it's in 3 languages.
I felt that it was important to do because to do it that way is because the languages that are first are always the indigenous languages of the Americas, and there are many. In fact, even in the Pueblo cultural community of the Southwest, in New Mexico and Arizona, there are 6 languages. You know, and Caris is the one that we, Acoma and 6 other Pueblos speak. The others speak Tewa, Tiwa, Toa, Zuni, and then the Hopi, which sometimes doesn't recognize itself as Pueblo, but is Pueblo culturally, is the other language.
Now, you told me earlier that you wrote this in English and someone else actually translated it into the Caris.
I wrote it, my gosh, in 1992 in English, and it took a long time to get it out as a book. It was created, composed in the English language, although obviously, because I refer to a tradition of storytelling, then elements are going to be, such as memory, are going to be of the older culture, you know. But the older culture is not really archaic, so ancient that it's no longer relevant. It's very relevant today. And so I had someone do it in the Caris language. Actually, it's in the Eastern Caris language because there are more Caris-speaking people who speak the Eastern dialect than there are the Western, which is spoken by Acoma Pueblo and Laguna Pueblo, 2 sister pueblos close by.
And then it's also has been translated into Spanish, so it's a really microcosm of the Southwest.
Because Spanish was the first European language, that is non-indigenous language, that the Spaniards brought in beginning in 1539-40 with Coronado, and then later after it became a New Spain, that area which is now New Mexico and southern Colorado, established in the Spanish whole was established in 1598. Then Spanish was the official language. Of course, obviously there were these many other native languages as well. So Spanish was the first non-indigenous language, and then English afterwards. So those are the 3 main languages in the Southwest. The native languages, of which there are numbers, not just the Pueblos, as I said, there are 7. And then there's also Navajo and Apache and other languages.
Many others.
Yes, because the indigenous languages are like the indigenous cultures, many throughout the Americas.
I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us about the Good Rainbow Road.
Well, I'm very appreciative of the fact that that I'm here with you.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.